Alright boys, welcome back to another one of Dr. Squirrel's famous guide videos. Today we're going to talk about the new content, Expeditions. I know some of you guys have been curious about this, some of you guys have ignored it, and I'll teach you all about it. So as usual, I've broken it down into topics to keep this guide short and to the point. So topic number 1 is just introduction to expeditions. Number 2 is boss basics, because all 3 of these bosses share certain characteristics. Topic number 3 will be brutal Pherus. Topic number 4 will be the blooming Snag Lich. Topic number 5 will be the hopeless Symaqus. And topic number 6 will be final tips. So without further ado, let's get started. Topic number 1, introduction to expeditions. So, expeditions are basically world boss-like content where everyone's trying to take down a single boss to collect the rewards. To join an expedition started by someone else, you go here, click enter, and let's look at the rewards. So when you beat expedition boss, depending on the difficulty, has 3 levels of difficulty, 1, 2, 3, you'll get either 1, 2, or 4 reforged materials. If you beat it within 30 minutes of it starting, you'll get an extra 1 material. So at level 3, you'll get 5. You'll see this damage ranking here. Up to 6 people can participate in a single expedition, and the goal is everyone's trying to make sure that they do their part to defeat the boss. Now, other than those reforged materials, there's also this epic pass style thingy where as you beat the bosses, you collect points. And as you get more points, you can collect these rewards, and as you can see, they're quite generous, especially for manifestation stones and other reforged materials. You can also get gold transmit stones, conversion gem selections. It's pretty good. So it's really worth it to do this content and try and clear out this page. To start your own expedition, you click on My Wanted posters. You get these by just doing regular hunts, and you'll get these periodically. And then once you have a wanted poster, you just click Embark. You choose the difficulty level. I'll do 2. And then you click Expedition Invite, and you can invite whoever you want individually, or just select all, and you can invite your entire guild. That's what I'll do. You click Invite, and then whoever wants to join will join, and they'll start doing this boss. That's about it for the introduction. Let's get started on the next topic. Alright, so topic number 2, boss basics. Now there are 3 different bosses, right, and they have different characteristics, but they actually share some mechanics between all 3. So we'll cover them here so we don't have to do it for each individual boss. So number 1, HP percent moves do not work on these bosses. By that I mean things like DDJ or Bellona's S1. They're useless, don't bother bringing them. Number 2, kind of like hunts, they take extra damage from the opposite element and do extra damage to other elements. So basically against the fire boss, you want to bring all water. Like, you don't have to if you don't have the right units, but for example on the fire boss, non-water units will take way more damage. So you're incentivized to always use the element that they're weak against. Number 3, they always open every fight with an AoE attack. This attack cannot be resisted, and immunity doesn't do anything to it, and it will strip all your buffs and apply some kind of special debuff to you. So just be prepared to have every fight open with that. Number 4, after the AoE moves, the bosses always attack the front row, and the bosses do less damage to knights. So in all of these fights, you are also incentivized to bring a knight, preferably of the element the boss is weak against, in the front line. Other things are very likely to get one-shotted, so put a knight in the front line. And number 5, all of these bosses have an enrage mechanic, so after the 11th turn, the boss will full strip your entire team and then one-shot you. I mean, like, hit you for like 1,000,000 damage. There's no way to survive it, so do as much damage as you can in 11 turns, because you're definitely going to die after that, no matter how tanky you are. And those are basically the basics of each of the bosses. Now let's get into the specifics of each boss. Alright, so topic number 3, Brutal Pherus. I consider this to be the easiest one, so let's start off with this one. And the reason I consider it the easiest one is because most people can use their Wyvern teams on this. Wyvern heroes are very strong here. So as I said, Knights are in the front line. Let's talk about his S3. Attacks all enemies, dispelling all buffs and inflicting silence, and it gives him offensive posture. He does a lot of damage in offensive posture. So obviously do not buff before he uses that move, because he will just remove it. So I'm actually going to do this just to reduce some of the damage. He's going to remove it, but that's fine. Now notice that my entire team is silenced. I cannot use any abilities, but it's no big deal. All you have to do is attack him several times to remove it. So let's see, after being attacked 6 times while in offensive posture, it dispels it. So basically you have to just hit him 6 times before he gets a turn. Now, one thing I want to show is that combat readiness increase effects are increased by 300%. So if you have something like Commander Larena or Terranor Guard, if he dual attacks, he will literally push your entire team to the front. And even DN, she has a 15% CR push. Watch how many turns she gets, because she gets a 300% push. Look, she's almost back at the front already. So as long as you have CR pushing S1s, this is very easy to make sure that you don't get attacked. Now this is a 6 attack, and now he loses offensive posture, and he loses that buff. And that's really all there is to this fight. One more thing is, make sure you do not put 3 debuffs on him. If you have 3 debuffs on him or more, he uses an AoE move that transfers all the debuffs to your team. So other than that, this boss, I usually just auto. I just turn off SSB and Terranor Guard skills, because the only debuffs I'll have on the boss then are target and defense break, so he'll never send it back. And this ends up being a really easy fight. We'll just fast forward to the end on auto to see how many points I get. Alright, so we're getting near the end of this fight, and he's about to berserk. And you can see that I have around 600,000 points, 700,000 maybe by the end, which is not bad considering I'm just autoing this. So basically that's the basics of this strategy. Make sure you hit him 6 times when he goes into offensive posture. Bring people with CR pushes on their S1. You can use like Commander Larena if you don't have anything else, and that phase will be very easy. Do not put more than 3 debuffs on him, and other than that, it's just a very basic tank and spank, not a very hard fight. So it looks like we'll end here around 700,000 points. Let's move on to the next boss. Alright, so topic number 4, the Blooming Snag Lich. I actually consider this to be the most annoying of the bosses by far, because it's not, you can't really auto it, and I'll explain why. So basically, this boss has this crystal thing. Every time the boss S3s, he has a debuff called Neurotoxin, and it basically one-shots you 90% of your life. The way to not die to that is you have to kill this crystal, and it has 6 stacks of skill, or 5 stacks of skill nullifier. You have to hit it 6 times to kill it. But once you kill it, it gives you this special buff called Immunization that makes you unaffected by the neurotoxin. So right before he S3s, you should kill the crystal. It's important not to kill the crystal too early, because the immunization only lasts 2 turns, and if you kill it too early, then the buff will fall off before the boss S3s, and then you will basically die to it. Other than that, there's really not that much to the fight other than one important mechanic where the boss takes more damage from AoE attacks, and we'll show you that here. So if I do Kayron's S3, let's keep track of how much damage it does. Does around 12,000 damage. Now we're going to use his AoE move next turn and see how much damage that does, because the boss takes, I think, 70% more damage from AoE attacks. Yep, 70% more damage. So you're supposed to bring a lot of AoE fire DPS. The reason I brought Ken is because I don't really have many AoE fire DPS built. I'm not even going to burn this. I'm just going to AoE. So remember the S3 did 12,000? What? Just the S1 does 22,000 because it was an AoE attack. So that's basically what you do in this fight. you just make sure you kill this crystal before he poisons you, and then you bring as many fire AoE DPS as possible and try to burst him down. Now watch, I'm going to kill this crystal, and notice that this heart-shaped icon goes on my characters, and it says the target will not suffer damage from neurotoxin for a certain number of turns. So now in the boss S3s, I won't get one-shotted by it. It'll still do damage to you, but the neurotoxin itself won't do that much. Or rather, it won't do anything, and you'll be able to survive it. So other than that, it's just a basic tank and spank. It's just an annoying fight because you can't really auto it unless you have a lot of AoE, because you need to make sure you kill that crystal every time the boss is about to S3. So other than that, you just keep doing this over and over until the boss is dead. So let's fast forward a bit. Alright, so we're nearing the end of this fight here. My A-Ros just died, and looks like I did around 450,000 damage to this boss. Not terrible, not great. Again, I brought Fire Ken here. That's the main problem. If you have something like Tenebria or another AoE fire DPS, you could do a lot better than me, but that's basically the strategy. Kill the crystal before he S3s every time, and other than that, just a basic tank and spank. Best of luck to you. Let's move on to the next boss. Alright, so topic number 5, let's go over the Hopeless Symaqus. So as the fight starts, as always, they open with a AoE attack, and the gimmick to this fight, the main gimmick, is that he has this special debuff called Fatigue. It decreases your speed by 100% and increases damage taken. So basically, oh, and also it cannot be cleansed or dispelled. So basically, the only way to get rid of it is to bring a CR pusher, and this is why I brought Oxlots. He's not very good here at all, but if you have regular lots built, he's the best here. But basically, if you boost the person with the fatigue debuff, then they get a turn and that debuff falls off. And that's the main gimmick of this fight, the fact that he permanently locks down one person unless you CR push them. So you can also use things like Tamarin or Falconer Clury maybe, or other CR pushers to try and boost them up. But the boss reduces their CR to like 0, so if it's not 100%, it takes a long time to bring them back up to the front. So really, Lots, A-Lots, those are the characters that are most viable at bringing them back up. Now, the only other thing to this fight really is that every 6 times you attack him, he will do like an AoE attack on you that actually hits quite hard if you don't have a green unit. I think he will use it soon. I think it's when he gets to Demon Cunning 6. Yeah, every 6 attacks suffered activates Frenzied Attack, and that thing does a tremendous amount of damage. So my Oxlots probably won't survive this here, but whatever. Another strategy that I use that's actually better for me, because my A-Lots just gets one-shotted, is you can also just bring a high DPS water unit and completely ignore trying to dispel him or her, and just basically 3-man it. That's usually what I do. I just bring Celine and let her sit there, and I 3-man it with my other 3 heroes. That was the frenzied attack right there. So basically that's the strategy here. You just tank and spank the boss. If you want to, CR push whoever gets the fatigue to get them to shake it off. If you don't care, just 3-man it and let your highest attack person stay asleep. And that's basically all you have to do to defeat this boss. Alright, so topic number 6, final tips. Just wanted to cover a few things before we wrap this up. So number 1, make sure you don't join expeditions that are too hard for you, because the ultimate goal is to clear each expedition while only entering it once. You don't get more rewards for doing it multiple times. So you want to think about this from a reforged material per energy perspective. So for most people, the level 3s are actually really hard. They're really hard for me as well because I don't have heroes built specifically for this. So the level 2s, I can very easily get the boss to almost like half HP or more with just 1 entry, and then the other 5 people can finish it off. So the way I see it, for that entry fee, I get, if we do it in 30 minutes, 3 reforge mats. That's a pretty good investment. But if I had to do it 3 times and do 60 energy, 3 reforged mats or even 5 reforged mats for 60 energy, that's BS. That's a waste of time. So in general, make sure that you can clear whatever expedition you join with a single entry. The ideal situation is 6 people join, all of them do it once, so everyone uses the minimum amount of energy, everyone gets the reward, and everyone's a happy camper. Along those lines, one thing you're going to want to do with expeditions is prune your friends list. Defriend all the people who don't even play the game anymore. I mean, friends didn't really matter in this game. I don't even know who I'm friends with because when I started playing the game, I just friended everybody. I don't even know if these people are active. So I'm going to have to go. Anyone who has a last login, look at this guy. It's 3 months ago. Let's get rid of them right now because they're never going to send you invites to expeditions. Make sure you prune your friends list. Make sure you're also being selective about who you invite. I don't want to be mean or anything, but if you know certain people that are your friends or your guilds are not going to be able to contribute because they have terrible heroes, maybe don't invite them to your expedition so they don't join and in 3 entries do like 16 damage to the boss. So I think those are the most important things in general. I think this is just more like world bosses, like boring content, but at the same time, the rewards are very reasonable. So ultimately, Smilegate did us a solid. A lot of people are complaining about these things and how hard it is to get these manifestation stones. So I think this is the main reason they released this content, to help people reforge their gear faster. And along those lines, it's definitely going to help. So anyways, I think that wraps up my guide video. If you have any questions, comments, or want to make any corrections to something I said, put it in the comment section below. If I agree with it, I'll heart it to bring it up to the top. And let me know what guide you want in the future. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Peace out. Meet me.